What's up, everybody? It is JOSHTHEJSYSTEM here. Welcome back to more WWE Supercard, specifically the campaign. Now, in our last run, we stopped at Amateur 5 because we were trying to catch up due to a technical error that occurred a while back. If you are unfamiliar with what I'm referring to, I did briefly mention it in the last video. And, there's going to be a lot of these coming in the next few days. I'm going to try to pump them out as fast as I can. Chances are that they're not going to hit in time because I'm going to be doing them one per. Like, what you are going to be seeing is all going to take place over the span of a single day. But also, the fact of the matter being is that it's good. The uploads are going to be sporadic over the course of days going by, and there's going to be other stuff going up on the channel as well. I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'm keeping that to myself because secrets. I want you guys to be surprised. As you guys know, this channel isn't only going to be about Supercard. It's only been about Supercard because of reasons. So, that being said, let's get everything up and ready to rumble. So we're going to jump right past 5 into 6. We got to make up a little bit because, so as I've said before in a previous installment, that was the previous episode, which was a very long one, that we had, I was working on a separate project at the same time I was doing the campaign, and during that time, the project started giving me issues where I wasn't able to play that game. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And that's how the issue arose when I moved stuff onto a jump drive, a USB. Because I had a 1 terabyte one, so I thought I'll just throw them all in here, no big deal. Very big deal. Because I didn't pay attention to when I pulled them back off real quick, and I immediately went and deleted them, and I do realize I'm not really showing much attention to the matches I'm doing. That's because I've already beaten them. So, I am still getting over a minor cold, and I'm still dealing with the after effects. So there was a lot of like issues with it where when I brought them back, like half the videos were corrupted, and instead of being smart and not deleting the footage on the jump drive right away, I deleted it right away. So what ended up being the case of me just not being smart, and then now I'm in this situation now where it's like, okay, what do I do from here? And I was like, I guess I gotta redo it. So I was supposed to be a lot further along than I was, and for whatever reason, if you're seeing stuff differently, it's because obviously these videos are being filmed sporadically apart. I say filmed and recorded, I should say, sporadically apart. So I'm being transparent with you guys, so you guys understand that I do stream almost daily on Twitch, so you might find me there in case of anything you want to try and catch up with everything. The VODs aren't going away. The problem was that during the static tier and during the rumble tier, I was like very sporadic with my streams, where I was only getting a couple out a week, and I'm like, these are going to be so inconsistent that it's not going to make sense to you guys. So I just said, you know what? I'll take a break. So when we're expecting the new tier to be WrestleMania 42, we don't know for certain. Currently, at this point in time, when this is recorded, so we're on the same wavelengths. We are waiting for the last part of the Kit Wilson quest to be finished. Honestly, anything that could use him during this and just be smart about it. But I'm choosing not to. Alright. 10 more and then we're on our way to starting to actually make real progress. So, generally you can get an hour out through these videos, like it's not. And I am experimenting with different templates of Supercard, what I'm using for my stuff. Right now I'm kind of like getting people's inputs on what they like to see, so I kind of got, because I'm a people pleaser. Because on my channel, as people know, I'm interactive. I talk to the community. I try to get you guys more involved. Recently, we had just done what was called the ultimate button, which is going to be taken care of tonight on there. So if you happen to catch this after the fact, this is going to be going up. This is the only one I will say that you will catch this right after this is recorded, but the others are going to be day by day apart. And so that's going to be the thing. So even if you guys catch it after the fact, just know when this was recorded is the day that it was put up. So there's a lot of consistency on like what I've been doing and what I haven't been doing. So there's a lot of cards that still need to be worked on in my deck. I still got some of the league left to do to get myself to the 7th tier. Because unfortunately I've been running into issues. It's been more of a timing thing, where you get caught up with obviously everybody is human and they only have so much strength, but my exhaustion level has been through the roof the last actually a couple weeks, and I've been trying to rebuild it. This week's actually been a lot better than most, because you're like you put yourself to the ringer so much, and you don't. It's not even the fact you don't find time to get stuff done. It's where you run into the issue of, do you have enough energy to get it done? And that's where it's becoming a major problem for me. Is I run out of energy probably faster than most people, but I am getting back on track, hopefully, to be able to maintain enough of that, and enough where we'll be consistent enough, or we'll be putting up a video almost every day. Eventually I want to start doing like maybe not just Supercard videos, like where I'm doing gameplay. I do. I don't know. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'm going so fast. Okay, so I saw the save and not just where we're doing these, but where we might do like, oh, what tier was my top 10, what superstar images, top 10 of individual superstar images, what concurrent events that ran were in my top 10, or even top 5, just to be, I'm determining what I want to make it a top of, because if I do a top 10, I feel like that's so generic, where it doesn't feel like it's me. But at the same time, top 10s are usually the things, or even at some point I would like to do a tier ranking video, and I do have that that's coming in the future, so I want that to be on record that is coming. I want to do like a tier ranking, and then do like images of the superstars from the game, even if that's possible to do. If it doesn't get hit with like a copyright or anything. because it'd be something I don't know if anybody's ever done it. And to be honest, this is coming off right off the back of my head, the seat of my pants, if you will. These are just ideas. So if these have come up, please, if you guys are hearing me say something that's, oh, it's been done before, but yeah, that'd be cool. Leave a comment of who's done it, so I can see at least, so I know this is like, oh, this is who did it. Oh, okay, that's cool. Because I am trying to be original, and I kind of like try to avoid watching other. For the most part, I try to avoid watching other creators with Supercard only because of that. It doesn't mean I won't. I try to avoid if they're making videos that aren't just playing the game. Only because if I do that and it turns into where it might seem like I'm stealing ideas, and I'm not. I don't want to steal anybody else's ideas. I just want to support my the community of players, because that's what we're trying to build in my. What we're trying to do is build a community, at least from my chat, is what I'm trying to do, is build a community where you can feel safe enough to come in and ask questions, where you don't feel like, yeah, you have to like you're scared to ask a question or something, because I still don't. This is the thing that has always bothered me. When people do ask the question, they're like almost hesitant, and I do get that there's like this stigma of like fear of like asking a question, like you're gonna be like you're gonna be hurt because you asked the question. It's like, no, you're not going to be. And it's a weird case. I don't know why that is. So when people do it, I'm very genuine with you. If my voice comes off as like a little intimidating, I do apologize. Just I have a deep voice at times. Other times I don't. It depends. I've heard my own voice on when I've watched back some of my recordings, and I'm like, oh, my voice actually sounds weird. I am trying to adjust a little bit. Oh, yeah, we gotta use Thea. That's definite. She's not done. I use Miss Hale. So a lot of that with my voice, just it comes off weird, and this was something that happened a while back. There was a guy I used to work with who is still doing this as well, or doing content creating. He started watching my videos, and he would watch them in front of me, and I was sitting there looking at him like, I go, this is weird. And he just goes, you got it good. You just gotta. He goes, he had said that I wasn't engaging enough, and I was like, I'm engaging. I go, and this was back before I started doing Supercard as a whole, because I wasn't getting like. The problem was that I was playing games, but I wasn't like big in that community as other creators were, and so like the times I was trying to build myself around the horror game community, and it just was not working at all, because there were different games every day, and I think that was the problem, was that I didn't have a community that was built around that, and I did start to, but then it fell apart, because there was a point where I suffered a burnout and I needed a little break. When I came back after it was literally a week. It was literally just a week for a break, and I came back and I had nobody showing up anymore, and I was just like, okay, well. And so I've told this story many times during my streams, but I will tell it here just so we're on the same wavelength with this. So back in 2024, this is back in June-ish. So this was around when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth dropped, so this is going back to then. So I was going well with that. I was taking care of all the side quests and that, and I'm getting to my point right now. An incident happened where my HDMI for my PS5 went. And we had it where it was a couple weeks, it was about a week out of me not streaming, and I was like, well, I gotta come up with something. And I remember it was doing, I think I was going back and I was just like, I think I was just looking at something on my computer, and I looked down at my phone because I was, because I was playing Supercard at the time, as I remember now. And I had said to myself, why not? Why not do this? Why not give this a shot? Because at this point, let's go for it. So I said, let's figure out what I need to do, what I need to adjust on my computer. Let's get this rolling. So I ended up making some adjustments here and there, and I started, and at first it wasn't much, but hey, I was doing it. I was figuring out what I wanted. I knew what I wanted for the channel. I knew that I was going to I don't think I did that. And I remember that after, I think it was like a week later, was the first time they did Block Bash, which was at the first time I wasn't keen on it the first time because I didn't get it because I was still figuring it out. And once I did, I think it was just more of the same. Once I got that one down, I was like, okay, this event is actually really good. And it was right around that time I started picking up a little bit of traction. And to give you an idea, I was barely making any. Barely anybody was showing up for my videos at the time. Breaking the fourth wall here. That's what was happening, and then it started picking up a lot of steam because a lot of people were showing up. And I said, "Oh, this is cool." And what made it even better was the game that I'm passionate about, where I don't have to sit there and try and where I don't have to sell out. As bad as that sounds, I'm not going to sell out for something if I don't like the game, if I'm not happy with it, because if I finish a game, I'm not happy with it, I'm just going to be like, oh, that's it, I'm done. No more need to play this, because it's going to drive me insane, because there's a few games out there I've made very note that I will not play on my channel for various reasons, and it's because of past trauma from them, and one of them falls as because I've seen what it's done to other content creators, and trust me, I'm not funny when I start losing control. I get very nasty. So, all right, here we go. It's the first one. So this is where it's gonna get a little crazy, because now we're gonna get draft picks as we're going. So, Ethan Page, here we go. Weeks before it wasn't so bad because at least I wasn't having to worry about jumping out to draw draft picks. Draft picks will prevent me. If I reach 50, I'll run out of draft pick room. But yeah, so I did mention those games and then mention them now. They are Yu Yu Hakusho, the Dark Tournament for the PS2. Although I may, if there may be a point if we reach a certain amount of subscribers on here, I may revisit. Although I will promise that there will probably be a whole points of me stopping, so the videos may be smaller than anything. You are done. There's gonna be a whole lot of me bouncing in between my topics of what I'm talking about and what I'm doing here. So in this video, so be wary of that right now. Not noteworthy, basically anything. Because it is a fighting game and it is also extremely annoying when you get to the final boss. Because the game is easy and then it jumps up into like extremely difficult for whatever reason, but and if I hear the phrase, oh, but there's codes for it, that doesn't count. It doesn't make me a good player. That makes me pretty bad. Be sure I could use infinite health, but what good does that do for me? I had to sit there and grind it out against the final boss, Tagoro. And that was never fun. Climbing up our way to J. The other one is getting over it with Ben and Fadi. I probably am never, ever probably attempting that game. I do have intentions eventually of doing. So one of the projects I do have in store coming soon is actually Resident Evil coming up as one of my projects I want to get working on. Not just the normal games, which I do plan on getting at least all of them. You guys, if you have checked through the channel, you do see those 4 videos. That was the very first time I ever recorded anything, and I didn't want them coming down despite how terrible they are, despite how annoyed I get on the 4th part when I get taken down by the zombie because it was taking so long for it to take me down. The reason is because there's nostalgia involved in there, because it was my first time actually like doing a video where I felt like this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the one that's gonna make it feel good. And I left the name as it is because that's what eventually I do intend on going back to playing that and obviously beating it and doing better. With a whole new game and with both characters, obviously, I don't mind how it goes. I really don't. I mean, some of it's very easy to handle as it is now because watching and then obviously giving you guys the hilarity of the tofu runs, which is like the greatest thing ever from that game. Pounding our way through. Here we go, number 25 coming at you. As I'm told, when I get a lot further along, that there will be more. It will get more difficult, but right now I'm kind of like set in a situation where I put myself in a bad situation where I should have had more cards and more cards taken up and I shouldn't. I put myself in this situation because, well, I got too relaxed, and I should have been trying to figure a way how to make magic happen. So to put it clear, so this isn't like something that gets lost in it where everybody's going to assume every video I upload is going to just be this. It's not going to always be campaign. The problem was I put myself in a situation to do a whole lot of campaign videos first. I'd like to do it where I could sit down and like give like detailed idea of like, okay, what process do I do? So people have so more of a tutorial for certain players that may not understand certain game modes, or maybe where certain things may be lacking for them, and and where they're struggling in these modes where they can be doing better, and where my videos will help, which I do intend to do at some point. I just haven't had time to come up with the. I didn't say time. I had plenty of time. Just haven't had the ideas of how I want them to be put together, because I kind of want I want it to flow well, and for you guys to obviously to love them, because obviously that's the point. More so, not just because it's for you guys to love them, but so the community, it gets shared enough where it helps newer players that are just joining the game. Oh, I'm already out of card roll. Are you serious? Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna get a little bit more than just campaign right now. 96. Got less than 4 days to pull this off. Well, that will be extremely easy to do. I'll return to that in a minute. Well, it was only 15. That'll be done easily because, well, I only had like 5 or 6 spots and I cleared like 11, so there it is. I don't know what it gave me, but we'll find out. I just want to clear up my draft board before I do anything else. I'll put someone new in the performance center after, so I'm not falling behind on that, because I cannot afford that. Yeah, that seemed about right for that to happen. Pulling Batista, that is. Alright. Just draft the last few. Okay. I'm not completely like inactive. I'm not dumb about this. That I'm not like gonna notice that I actually got rewards from the last um the for beating Ethan. So in campaign, so that wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna forget about it. Like nothing happened there. Couple of cards. Works for me. Oh, weird. Anyway, another 7. That was good, 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 good. Gotta remember I gotta do that today. That's fine. Hold on to it for now. All right. Anyway, now performance center. We'll just get those taken care of real quick. Who's closest? I would say my Loomis, based solely on the fact that I know I have one done already. Combined. Oh, this is a pointless combine then, other than the leveling up process needed for him, because everything else, yeah, not really gonna help. Bottom one stays open. Where are you? Back to campaign. Yeah, so a little bit of my process of how I decide on who I'm using and where. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to run into too much issue right now at the moment. It might come later. But if it does, at that point there may be... this might just turn into like, okay, this is what I got to do for like X amount of time. But I don't see myself having that much trouble. At least not until I hit through the main card, which the main card will be my enemy big time, but by then that'll be where I'm getting my cards that I need. Or just hoping I get supports that I don't have, and then I can just compare them. And go, okay, well, I need this one, I don't need this one. Well, I already have a Fortification 3 of this one. Like I said, the beauty of this right now is that I'm miles ahead. The problem, the enemy of this is that I'm miles ahead. And that I don't, and I have a long road ahead of me. Because every time I leave out of this, I gotta make sure I'm remembering to do something, and I forgot to do something. But I'll claim my rewards first. I forgot to do my reward mania stuff. Wow, that's actually... I guess that would make sense. It's a shortened tier. And the majority of it's been active, so maybe the other cards are probably Ricky that I missed out on. Because I only missed one set of subs. And all that real quick. Alright, now we're good. That just comes with the major problem, and that's just getting everything, just remembering to do stuff outside of it, because now it becomes the major problem I'm going to run into running on a draft phone constantly because, well, I don't have enough of a certain direction, or I don't have enough of a card. That's just how things are sometimes. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing now is, right now it's figuring out of the females who I can start throwing into just throwing some static, because I'm not there yet. Unfortunately, I'm not there. Heck, my up arrows are still suffering a lot. That's probably where I'm gonna be in the biggest that's gonna be my deadliest enemy right now, is probably my female cards, but given where I'm at right now, I'm not too concerned until I get up there, and then I'm like, okay, this is where the problem lies. I do have some significant plans for when I do take losses for this. So, excuse me. The stuff that I mentioned before, the ultimate button, I know I mentioned it briefly earlier because it's going on during my current stream that'll happen later tonight. So if you're unfamiliar with that, that's basically doing all bouts, a survivor, and a super showdown bout. The only difference is the survivor bout has to be completed. And I'm actually amending something on that I normally do have, because normally I would do 30 wild bouts. But because wild does not have any bouts, it kind of like kills the momentum a little bit. It slows my momentum, I should say. I'm just using never fun. So the plan amending of that is that it will be 3 survivor bouts and 3 super showdowns. 3 super showdowns that I at least have to make 8. And then 3 survivor bouts, with the exception being I have to at least win 1. That's the only thing. I can play 3 survivor bouts, but I have to win 1 of them, or else I have to restart it of doing the 3 again until I get it. Which, no big deal there. It's pretty cut and dry there. That's a tag team you wouldn't think you would see. Breaker and Rowan. Alright, here we go. Another step closer. The Iron Claw Slam. Breaker and Orton. Again, not a tag team I would ever have on my bingo card, I will tell you that. La 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 la. Well, create one that might be more likely to happen in the future right now. I'm mad at both of them are done, so they're already pro'd in the Rumble tier. We already know they're done. Match-wise. Number 35 is in the books. Mm-hmm. Not bad so far. 2 Rumble cards. I definitely need them. We all definitely need them at this point. All those doublers coming in are going to be very helpful. Okay, let's see. Saw at least one. Is that correct? Yes, just one. Finish up clearing the draft board. We'll take out this middle row. Sounds the best to me. And of course, I jump over by one by accident, and I ended up resetting the draft board anyway. Okay, real quick. Let's make it so that doesn't happen anymore. we can have a little bit more room. Batista was always going to be dangerous. Might as well. Those aren't really doing much. As much as if I hung on to them, it wouldn't really do me much good. Still my beating heart? Is it possible that I may actually finally be able to train the Bailey card? It's a running gag in my that's been going in my streams lately, is that I end up running out of card room, and I end up hitting combined on a lot of the static cards, and it keeps thrusting more cards ahead of Bailey, and I'm just sitting there going, will I ever train her? And if I could, honestly, that it will be getting the second one probably tonight. It's totally on a Super Showdown situation. Excuse me. That said, I am nursing the cold, so excuse the sounds I make sometimes. But good news is that it's almost out of me, so hopefully. Do something wrong, did I? Normally an opponent does pop up, so I'm wondering if I ever clicked a match that wasn't the next match. So if I did, oh well. Either way, it's going to be a 3-pointer. No, I did. Oh. So now I wonder what's happening with so if you haven't noticed that the Super Coin Store hasn't been updating very much lately, with the exception of like putting the new whatchamacallit, the PLE cards in. I don't think it's been updating much, other than like when you get the new tier and you just get them in, they just get added to like the platinum and all those other packs. Like for the special edition packs and like the old PLE packs, they haven't been updating them, which I'm wondering why that is. Because you would figure with this going on that would make it so much easier to with the Rumble event going on. I mean, it would make it easier that they would want to do that. try to see what they need to be updating next, but maybe because of the fact that this is going on, they're focusing solely on creating new ways to give us special edition and limited edition cards, which they hit the nail on the head with this. Problem being, they need to, because we had to rely so heavily on, that we've been relying heavily on a lot of stuff that had the codes for the cards. My advice to them would be add 1 or 2 more modes that are going to have the legacy cards if you're going to do something like this. Give us a little bit more to work with, or maybe make it where, yeah, even that's fine, because eventually Super Showdown you're going to run out of bots. So I mean, if you did it for Boom and Survivor altogether, would be, I think, more optimal, because you had the stuff in the store. Yes, that's going to help. The draft board was fine, or you have to snap that limit on the draft board. So if you didn't know, there is a limit to how many you can pull a day off to draft board. And if they snap that limit, I feel like that's fine, because then you'll have the perfect amount. I feel like you'll have it just a little bit easier for the players, because obviously even over the course of the days you had to extend the events, when generally that may not have even needed to be the case. And when it gets down to brass tacks, you have to look at the wider scope. And the wide scope can't be that the almighty dollar is the only way to go. No, you have to be looking at it from the wider scope of your community and just saying, hey, this is what you got, this is what you need to do. You got to do more. There just has to be more. You have all these game modes and you're not utilizing them. The one event that did it was the first ever SummerSlam Rocks. Like, that utilized everything and it flowed so naturally. Even if it took people a while to get the cards in question, you still got them in the end. And instead of, like, and there were a lot of times you had all these SummerSlam cards you were building up on, and you were getting, and then when you did the second one, like, holy, just on the scope of how many of the special editions you got. I mean, good grief. There's no wonder that when the next tier dropped that they needed to give us like 5 different Dirty Dom equipments, because we had so many already. It was like it was a done deal. That event was getting decimated. The only time it wasn't is when you had to swap him out for Superstars that didn't use his specific stat, and it was rare if it didn't. Very itchy today. Whew. That said, though, this is what we can make it. All right, so we are going to stop here. So we've made it to the halfway point of amateur, which is good. When we pick it up, we're going to be making darn sure we crush our way straight to the top of amateur, and we put amateur in the books, and we will be on pro before we know it, and then it will be mid card and main card. With that being said, thank you to everyone who stopped by to watch. I appreciate it. If you're enjoying the content I am putting out here, please leave a like, comment, give me your thoughts on what you've seen so far. I know it's not much so far as the content we've been putting out, but we're putting more out. There's going to be a lot more coming your way sooner than later. Trust me on that. So if you're interested in Supercards, stick around. Subscribe if you haven't already. This is JOSHTHEJSYSTEM signing out. Take care, everyone, and have a good night.